Can I be a good wife when I struggle with my mental health? Let me tell you my story. Welcome to Anchored Life with Kaale. Quick background on me. I had always been a bit of a worrywart my whole life, but it wasn't too bad until I had my first professional job, and that was super stressful, a lot of pressure, and it did not match with my personality of wanting to know what's coming and being able to just like take my time with some things. So I ended up very stressed out, very anxious. I was spiraling down, negative self-talk. I was having physical symptoms like stomach aches. I was having panic attacks, and I was feeling generally quite hopeless about life. So that's where I was at. When I talked to my counselor, she was like, you need to set boundaries for yourself of what you are able to do, what you're willing to do, and you might have to step back from some things. And when I told my husband that, he didn't really understand because he's never been in the situation of really struggling with his mental health. He just really had no frame of reference to understand where I was coming from. So I felt a little bit disconnected from him at that time because while he was trying to listen and trying to understand, he really wasn't quite getting it. I felt guilty for taking time for me and just relaxing and doing the things that I needed when my husband was busy working or doing whatever, and he didn't really see why I needed to take that time for myself. So I went to my therapist and was explaining how I felt guilty about not doing everything that I used to be able to do or that I wanted to be able to do. And she had me make a chart with 3 different columns. The first column was things that I absolutely had to do, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'll skip the second column. The third column was things that I did that made me feel like me and that really filled me and made me whole. And those are really important things to do. And then the middle, the second category was kind of like the ugly in between, the things that I have to do, kind of like I feel pressured to do them. I could do them, but like no one's gonna die if I don't do them. And once I actually made this chart and looked at the things that were in the middle category, things that like, okay, no one's gonna die if I don't do this, it made me realize that I put a lot of pressure on myself to do things and to have things just so and perfect when I really didn't need to. And when I showed this chart to my husband and kind of explained what my therapist was saying about all this, it kind of added some credibility to what I'd been trying to say, but I guess hadn't been saying very well. So by going to the therapist, it helped me to have communication skills, to be able to talk to my husband about what I was going through, and it helped him to be able to understand as well. And then we were kind of able to kind of find some common ground where he was understanding the situation that I was going through and how I needed to just kind of take a bit of a step back from things. Another thing that my therapist taught me was to not feel guilty about what I am or am not doing compared to your spouse. So I kind of felt guilty when I would need to take a nap or something because I just felt so emotionally drained. And yet Bruce was still running around doing 100% of all the stuff that he normally did and working hard. And I just was comparing myself to him and thinking I need to be doing 100% too. My counselor was like, why are you comparing yourself to him? You're in a completely different situation. Things are different for you guys. And it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Like my husband is like healthy, going through a good time in life. It makes sense for him to be able to do all the things that he wants to be able to do. And for me, it makes sense to stop and have a nap once in a while because that's what I need. And I don't need to compare myself to anybody else, even my own husband. Another thing that's important to have a good marriage when you are struggling with anxiety is to really be open about what you're going through. So maybe when your husband's in the middle of watching an important game, that's maybe not the best time to just kind of drop a bomb on him, but taking a moment when you're both able to fully be present in the conversation, just be honest about what you're going through. Be clear, be open about it, no blaming, no pointing fingers at things. Just tell him what you're going through and if there's anything that he can possibly help you with. And you know what, I talked to my husband recently about this. I was like looking back on this time in our lives when I was really struggling with my mental health and was very anxious, like what do you wish you had known back then? Or what would you tell people who are in that season of their marriage? he was like, you just need to listen. There's some times when people want help and other times when people just want someone to listen to them. Something that is always great for either spouse to say to each other is, I love you and I'm not going anywhere. No matter how many times you hear that, you can't possibly hear it enough. So make sure that you're reminding your spouse of that. You can't control what your spouse does or how they respond, but you can control what you do and how you initiate the conversation. So make sure that you're taking control over what you're doing. So if you're feeling like you can't be a good spouse or you can't have a good marriage if you're struggling with something right now, that's just not true. The truth is that that's what marriage is. You are there to support each other through rough seasons and cheer each other on through good seasons. You take turns doing that for each other as different situations arise. And you can really be there for your spouse in the future, even if they're the ones being there for you right now. You take turns, a little bit of give and take. And the rough seasons are not gonna last forever. They just won't. We're always changing, adapting, we're growing as people, and you will get through this season in your marriage. Let me know what you thought of this video down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. And make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell because I release new videos every single week. I will see you guys soon.